Hey y'all, I'm reading Job chapter 33, and Job's friend Elihu was talking to him about how God communicates with us, and I want to share this with y'all. And I learned a lot from it, and I think that it's pretty educational as far as our spiritual journey and how to walk in the Spirit and how to listen to God and how to communicate with Him. Today in the church, we know that God speaks to us through His Word. We know that He speaks to us, in the form of His Spirit interceding for us. But there are also other ways that Yahusha speaks with us that many may not be aware of, and that's the reason that I'm making this video today. So it's Job chapter 33. First, I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to interpret it because it's kind of hard to explain. I mean, it's kind of hard to understand, but I'm going to explain it after I finish reading it. So if you hear something that you don't understand, just wait until I finish and then I'll explain it. So what we have going on here is, we all know what the book of Job is about. Job, Yahuwah allowed Job to go through all these things, to be terrorized, to lose everything in life, right? To test his faith, to see how faithful Job would be. And Job, he controlled his anger for a while. He stayed loyal and he stayed faithful, but he began to doubt. He began to get upset, which is understandable. All the things that he was going through. He began to get upset and he started speaking against Yahuwah, questioning him. And this is what's going on right here. Elihu, I talked about him before in my videos. Elihu, which is Job's friend, he has the gift of wisdom, right? And this is who is talking in this chapter. Elihu is speaking to Job. And in verse 13, this is what Elihu is saying to Job. For God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. For God may speak in one way or another, but man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon man, while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of man and seals their instruction, in order to turn man from his deed and conceal pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. So Elihu was telling Job what he says, for Yahuwah may speak in one way or another, but sometimes we do not perceive it. That's what he's saying. When he speaks to us, sometimes we don't really know that he's talking to us. That's what Elihu meant by when he said, yet man does not perceive it. We don't know that that's Yahuwah trying to communicate with us. And then he follows up by saying, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon man while slumbering on their beds, then God opens the ears of man. So what he's saying is, he may speak to us in our sleep. He may speak to us in our dreams, whether it's a good dream or whether it's a bad dream, a nightmare. Whenever we're resting, he opens up our ears and seals our instruction. The reason that he speaks to us in this way is because he has our full attention. And then if he follows up by saying, in order to turn man from his deed and conceal pride from man and keep his soul from the pit. So he speaks to us in our sleep or in our dreams to keep us from perishing, right? He seals our instruction while we're asleep. This may be even a form of losing sleep. It just means that when you lie down, when you rest at the end of the day, or when you rest, you may not rest. You may have bad dreams. You may not feel good. You may lose sleep. You may have a good dream. He may speak to you in a positive way. But that's one way that Yahuwah speaks to us today, is through our dreams. A lot of people say that he does not do that anymore, but that's not true because it's right here. Elihu says he speaks to us in one way or another, in a dream or in a vision of the night. Okay, so that's one way that he speaks to us. But in verse 19, he also tells us a second way that Yah speaks with us. And he says, man is also chastened with pain on his bed, and with strong pain in many of his bones, so that his life abhors bread, and his soul hates food, meaning that he loses his appetite. His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones stick out which were not seen. Yet his soul draws near the pit, and his life to the executioners. So basically what's going on right here is he's explaining someone getting sick. This is the second way that Yahuwah communicates with us. We're chastened with pain on our bed. He's explaining someone getting sick. Their bones are showing. They lose their appetite. That's a way that Yahuwah communicates with us. So the first way was in a sleep, in a vision, of the night, a nightmare, a good dream. That's one way. The second way is we get sick. And then if you want to know why we get sick, why does he communicate with us? It says his soul draws near to the pit and his life to the executioners. If there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness, then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. So that's why he communicates with us that way, to deliver us from perishing. Verse 29 says, behold, God works all these things twice, in fact 3 times with the man, to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. So that's how Yahuwah communicates with us. A lot of times we go through things and we don't really, know what's going on. We can't really comprehend why we would be going through this. Like, did I sin? Did I make a mistake? Where did I go wrong? So that's why we have to meditate on his word, because the answers are in there. It gives us the answers. You may be going through something. You may not have even sinned. You see what I'm saying? You may not have even done anything wrong, but Yahuwah communicates with us in different ways. And sometimes we're not able, like Elihu, Job's friend, said, we're not able to perceive it. And you have to stay in his word and stay in the spirit, walking in the spirit, to be able to know what's going on. So to conclude this video, the way that Yahuwah speaks with us is, 1, through a vision in the night, through our sleep. He terrorizes us in our sleep, or he gives us a good positive message in our sleep. And 2, through sickness, through trials and tribulations in our life. You know what I'm saying? So those are 2 of the ways that Yahuwah communicates with us.